Hey, what's up, guys, and welcome back. First of all, if you would like to support me and the channel, my PayPal will be down in the description, so thank you all very much. So, welcome back to Anime King, and I'm back with part 3 of What If Naruto Left His Family for Power, guys. Remember to get this one to 100 like as usual. Share this to all of your friends on your social media platform. And also, guys, don't forget to go ahead and check out the other What Ifs on the other channels. Yes, I need 3 more channels that I post What If on every single day for you guys to enjoy. Anime King 2, Anime King 3, and Anime Symbol. I'll be leaving the links down in the description, so don't forget to go over there and check them out, guys. And if you want your video to be done by me, just go ahead and comment on any of my latest videos, including this one. So without further ado or wasting more time, how about we jump right into this brand new episode. Begin the intro. So, the last part that we left off, Team 7 ventured towards the land of Wave, where they ran into Zabuza and the Demon Brothers. However, they had to part ways after they were tricked into believing that Zabuza was defeated, but he was not. Mito, Namikaze, was truly appalled. Having grown up within Konoha, having witnessed good life, she was the daughter of the Hokage after all. As she saw these people, their life was horrendous. Their life was bad. And it made her feel bad as well. She had to do something. She had to stop this Gato. Iniri, the daughter of Tsunami, grandson of Tazuna. He was angry at all of them for being here, saying that they lived a cushy life. She could not rebuttal him on that because it was true. And she felt sorry for him, as he seemed so sad, claiming that there was no hope. But she was going to make sure that she inspired every single last one of them before she leave this place. As she went to train, she met someone, a passerby, as he was none other than Naruto. He was checking in to see how she was doing. She had no idea who he was, but he knew everything though. But he was simply trying to know her. She was cautious of him. He could be an enemy, but after talking to him, he seemed to just be curious, as he said that he was a wanderer that went around the world. Mito had a rather strong conviction into being a hero, saving people that need saving. And let's just say Naruto was proud, as he met up back with Mazikin. Maze was so proud of him for speaking to his sister. She was the only person that treated Naruto like he was some kind of child, despite being in his late teens. We then got a flashback to how they met. You see, Maze had a husband once, also a son as well. Unfortunately, her village leader got into some problems, and the one that he got into problems with had his man completely ripped through the village. Maze and many others were set ablaze. She had to watch as her child and her husband were taken away from her. Naruto had strolled through the town, shocked by the destruction. It seems like it was fate because Maze was the only one that was alive. At the time, Naruto was realizing that he needed a better defense. He wasn't as fast as he wanted to be. He needed protection. He dived into her mind as he made her a proposition. Naruto then proceeded to change her, turning her less human. When she awoke, he allowed her to have her revenge. They hunted them down, every last one of them, including their families, their attachments, and rid the world of those people. After a while, Naruto no longer seen Maze as his servant. He started to see her as family. After all, he was young back then, not really having anyone with him. He gave her the option that she could sever their ties, that she could be who she wanted to be, but she didn't want to let him go either. They were connected in more ways than one. So we got to learn why she was so fiercely loyal to him. Mito also met Zabuza's accomplice without even knowing it. We then got to see the final battle on the bridge, as Sasuke jumped in the way to save Mito. In doing so, she lost her cool, releasing the power of the Nine Tails. It was monstrous and overwhelming, as her rage pushed the control that she had to non-existent. She beat Haku and shattered his mask, only to come to a stop, realizing who he was. His story was told, but he was going to risk his life to save his master though. But Naruto stepped in and prevented his death. He had his reasons, as Mito was thankful to not see him die, because Sasuke was still alive. Haku had informed her. He didn't aim to kill any of them, just to knock them out. His only person was the target that he had to put down. Kakashi used Haku as a leverage, as Zabuza actually froze up, knowing that if he moved that Haku would die. Despite saying that he was this, he was that, he was a tool and nothing useful. Well, he was wrong and he knew that deep down, as Mito's words shocked him very deep. That is when Naruto arrived on the bridge, showing himself. Kakashi was shocked to see him. He's grown, but his face, he could see it in the eyes. It was him. Even as a child, Naruto terrified Kakashi. It was the way that the child was. It was almost like you were looking at all of your regrets when you looked at that boy. He left a long time ago after, nearly killing the two. Kakashi did not tell them anything about that. Minato and Kushina decided that they did not want them to know. Mito was stunned beyond their wildest imagination to learn that she had an older brother. Naruto allowed Maze to go crazy on Gato and his people, while he brought Gato towards the people of the wave. Naruto's words were very compelling, as their rage overtook them as they beat Gato to death with all of their weapons, freeing themselves by their own hands. He had his reasons. Kakashi was ready to fight, refusing to allow Naruto to go close to Mito, knowing that the last time they were together he tried to kill her. But Naruto's words were complex. Kakashi had a hard time trying to explain to Mito afterwards. She had to wait until she returned home. Unfortunately, Menma was also there as well. When she burst into the office, she demanded to know about their older brother. Menma was stunned, shocked to hear what he just heard. So yeah guys, basically as we left off, you guys can switch across the playcheck of yourself. So we jump right into this brand new episode. Let's begin now guys. The two were silent as they sat, thinking about what they were just told. It isn't every day that your parents told you that you had an older brother who tried to kill you. Menma and Mito were having a hard time handling this. Mito saw him with her own eyes. He was so nice. Not to mention they were alone, and yet he didn't try to harm her in the slightest. Menma on the other hand, he wasn't as forgiving as Mito. It shows going back to when she was tricked by Mizuki, when she vowed never to let her family be in danger because of her. Never again. We have to bring him back. We have to bring him home. Menma looked towards her. His expression was one of confusion. Didn't you hear what they said? He tried to kill us. Do you really think Mom and Dad wouldn't have told us about this unless they didn't believe that he was extremely dangerous to our well-being? But I met him. We were alone. How do you know that wasn't a trick? It wasn't. He was nice. He wanted to know what I was like. He wanted to get to know me. Listen to me. Menma said. He tried to kill us. Mom and Dad did not tell us because they were afraid for our well-being. Do you know any family member that has tried to kill one another? How could someone love you if they tried to kill you? He's supposed to be our older brother. He's supposed to protect us, look over us, watch out for us, but he tried to kill us. I know you're easy to forgive. I know that you're easy to forget. But this is not the time, he said. You can't just walk into something that you have no idea about, even if he is our blood. He tried to kill us. Menma told her once again so that it would get through. So don't do anything stupid. Mito released a heavy sigh. I won't do anything stupid, she said. But I think that if we got the chance to talk to him, unless he's brought here and confined to truly explain what the hell and why he tried to end us, I see no reason for us to be in any place with him alone. Menma had taken the role as her big brother, despite the both of them being so close in age. In fact, Mito was a bit older than him, as she was born first. Born on the same night, but she was born first. However, Mito was a very, very kind girl. Too kind. While it is good that she sometimes relate to people in many ways, like understand the difference, understand the pain, her being too trusting sometimes would be a problem. And now especially seeing that the person that she was supposed to be against was their own blood. And Menma wouldn't allow anything to happen to her. And he was pissed off to think they had a brother that tried to kill them. That angered him. He now knew why their parents hid that away from them. They would have demanded to know more. Demanded to understand why when they were younger. But he saw it very clearly today. Their parents did not have answers either. Time skip. Jiraiya returned to the village. He was rather shocked. He had shocking news of his own, but he was rather shocked about the fact that not only was Naruto walking around, that Mito met him. No, that isn't what he was expecting. Jiraiya truly believed that Naruto was dead. Jiraiya had a rather vast, powerful spine network, and yet he's been unable to link anything, not even a single trail, back to anything with Naruto. So this was, well, not what he was expecting. However, Jiraiya had some rather troubling news. It was spreading around. You see, there has been some rumors. It started a few years ago. Jiraiya believed it to be some false rumors in the beginning. They claimed that there was man that was turning into beasts. Ferocious, powerful beasts. Man and woman that were seen ripping others limb from limb. And then he heard that they were transforming into animals. But not just any animals. Ferocious wild beasts that were extremely large. For many years now, some of these have been getting out of hand. He's been keeping an eye on it. But recently, 15 bodies were found, and they were all drained of blood. And the rumors were no longer rumors anymore, as sightings were seen by many people. They claiming that there was more than one of them. They fed on the blood of humans. Minato Namikaze sat there, perplexed by all of this. With Naruto being back, and now this news spiraling more than he expected. Is this still on the down low, he said. Unfortunately not. It's spreading like wildfire. It was within the regions of Kumo. The village there, the people there, are said to be traumatized. Kumo ninjas have flocked to the area to further understand the situation, but it seems that we're dealing with something not normal here. Something beyond chakra. Something maybe even supernatural. Jiraiya said, I know how crazy it sounds, but those rumors that I've been focusing on, and now this. Both men were perplexed by it all. This world was a strange place. Many might say that it was just only ninjas, but some people could do some crazy, unbelievable things. After all, you had some failed experiments that were dubbed by some crazy man, which led to horrible disfigurement in many humans. This could just be an example of one of those. However, Konoha need to understand the situation that was taking place out there. They need to understand if this was something world-threatening, something horrible that they need to put an end to. Jiraiya was going to send word in his spy network to find out what truly was going on and to get his hands on one of these witnesses to truly understand what they saw. Days later, we find Jiraiya. He was no longer himself, transformed as he sat down. Having spent the past few days trying his best to get the information that he wanted, he finally got his opportunity. Seated down, the woman was relaying what she saw on that day. It still haunted her. She saw him. He was powerful. They tried to stop him, but he was able to throw 10 grown men like it was nothing. He sunk his teeth into a girl's neck. In a matter of moments, the light left her eyes. The way the woman described it, it sounded so horrific. Just what in the world was going on? Meanwhile, at the land of spring, once dubbed the land of snow, however, powerful generators were able to defrost the snow. At the moment, there was a rather large ballroom of sorts. People were well dressed. Everyone was dressed rather elegantly. A beautiful woman. Her name was Coyoki Kazahana. Once a movie star, now the ruler of her country. Coyoki Kazahana was dressed in a tight-fitting blue dress that hugged the curves of her body. She looked splendid, beautifully in every sense of the word. Next to her was a man, as there was waiters going around, handing out drinks one after another. The man next to her seemed rather nervous. You could see it on his face. He seemed to be in his late 30s, perhaps early 40s, but that was no longer an issue for many reasons. The man next to her, his name was Veric. He had dark, slicked back hair, as he was also well dressed as well, in a rather expensive suit. Over the years, many people have noticed the rising boom in the economy of the land of spring. It's been exploding. However, they lack ninjas that were truly formidable. So it was still believable that they would reach out to other villages for their help in certain events that they could not handle themselves. Not the main sections alone though, because they would use their people, but the other smaller little skirmish villages around. However, they have been quiet. A year or 2 or 3 passed by. They have been quiet. And that was becoming rather concerning. You see, the land of spring led the world in the growing population of technology, computers, electronics. They had a train. Yes, you heard that right. They had a train. There was no other village that had a train. So that was rather shocking for most, as most people have gone their entire life without even seeing a train. So you could understand how far they truly are in terms of the world growing, technologically advancement village. He's not going to be happy that you kept this away from him, that he had to find out himself. We don't even know if he knows about it, Veric said. Coyoki looked towards him with a blank look. Yeah, you're right. I'm just kidding myself. But I wanted to handle the situation. I am responsible for this. He was right underneath me. He was second in command. And it's my responsibility to keep them in line. And his responsibility to keep the others. He created a perfect system. And I've allowed that system to break apart. One domino knocks over the others. And now, it's bad. Veric said. Coyoki was thinking about the future. She being on the ground play of what was truly going on. Most of these things were a secret to the outside world. There were rumors and this and that. But they had no true idea of what was going on. Nor have they seen until just recently, when those 15 people perished because of one man decision. One stupid man. And for that, well, he's going to burn. The doors open up. As they proceeded to step inside, all eyes turned towards them. Naruto Uzumaki, known by Naruto to all of them. Or they call him Naruto-sama. There was a lot of respect there, considering that he was younger than most. However, the respect was never shaky by those who were truly loyal. However, you had those that chose to make a mistake. After all, going against him was a mistake. Dressed in a black and white suit, he stepped inside as all eyes turned towards the both of them. Naruto's suit was high quality, the best of the best. However, standing beside him was Mazikine. It had already shown from her fighting uniform that her body was immaculate. But now, wearing a red, strapless dress, it was hard to keep your eyes off her. She was truly stunning. As Naruto stepped inside, with her right beside him, the eyes focusing on them. It wasn't often that he showed up. Especially, it wasn't often that he stepped here where all of them were. Maybe visiting Veric, or having some other meetings with the other leader, but it wasn't often that he stepped in public in front of all of them. So you could tell that this was important. Well, given the rumors that have been going around, given what recently took place, this was really important. As the waiter came towards them, the champagne, both him and Mazikine took a glass. As they made their way, his eyes first went towards Coyoki. Coyoki, said Naruto with a smile. As beautiful as ever, he said, taking the back of her hand and kissing it, like a perfect gentleman. She smiled, always with the wonderful words, but her eyes, always seeming like they want to feast. Coyoki said to him, as Naruto smiled, I can't help it. How could any man help it? Looking at such a beautiful woman in front of them, she blushed at his words. Jeez, get a bedroom already, you two, Mazikine said, rolling her eyes. Coyoki turned towards her. Good to see you again, Mazikine, she said. Oh, trust me, it's not just you, Mei said, gazing around towards Many, who was looking at her. Still full of yourself, I see, Coyoki whispered under her breath. What was that? Mei's question. Oh, nothing. I was simply admiring the dress. The both of them, well, they got along, but in a rather humorful way. As Naruto turned his gaze, their eyes locked. Veric looked towards Naruto. Ah, Veric, said Naruto. It's been some time. He extended his hand. Veric took it as Naruto shook hands with him. I've been meaning to have a conversation with you about some changes. Veric removed his hand as he turned. "Shall we then?" he said, offering to speak to Naruto in the private room. Naruto gazed around. "Tell me, where is Korin?" said Naruto. "He will be here shortly," Veric said. "Come," said Naruto as they made their way. Coyoki looked towards Mazikine, who told her to stop. It was just a conversation between the two. Despite the little jabs earlier, Coyoki knew not to push it. You see, she might be the leader of this place, but she wasn't truly the one in charge. But people did not see that, because they weren't supposed to see that. She was the leader, their savior. Stepping inside the room. "I know what you want to say," Veric said, and Veric was cut off as his throat was grabbed. The wall exploded as he flew into the other room. He crashed on the ground. As he picked himself up, his bodily instincts of being attacked immediately emerged. His eyes, they became red, veins at the side of his head. His fangs elongated. However, as Naruto stepped through the hole, he immediately bowed his head, understanding, truly understanding the difference between them in many different ways. "I'm disappointed. I never thought of all people that you would disappoint me so much," said Naruto. You see Naruto acting like a normal individual because he was in many different ways. However, Naruto was also ruthless. He was also wicked. He was also dark. He was a complex man with many horrible things under his belt. It happened a long time ago, as the recalling memory of his first sighting of Veric was something that was still on his mind to this day. Flashback. Veric was a broken man. You see, he had a beautiful little girl and a beautiful wife. However, things changed. During the Third Shinobi War, almost close to the end of it, his girl, she hadn't even truly experienced the world. She hadn't experienced anything. It was an explosion, a random weapon from a fighting that was happening near his home. She was blown apart. After that, there was a lot of internal conflict between him and his wife, because his daughter shouldn't have been out there. The war was coming to an end. He told her that she could play with some of the other kids, but his wife was still against it. There was still so many going on, but their village was safe. It wasn't attacked, it was protected. They weren't fighters, but their village was a huge tourist spot. In the breaks, people came to their place. They had a lot of luxuries that many people came to enjoy, known for having the best hotels in the entire elemental nation. But something reached them. His little girl and 3 others were killed that day. His wife never forgave him. She blamed him, anger at the loss of their daughter. She blamed him for everything. She blamed him, it was all his fault. After which, he took up drugs. It was the only thing that dulled the pain. She left him after that, as the only thing that he could focus on was his own pleasure, because the pain was just too much. In the end, he had nothing. He was a junkie. The only thing that he desired, the only thing that he wanted in life was the next high. That is when he was found. After getting the crap beaten out of him after not paying up, both of his legs broken, he was found. When he first saw Naruto, dressed in all black, he thought it was a Reaper coming to claim his soul. He begged for death, realizing how miserable his life was. But the Reaper did not kill him. Instead, the Reaper offered him a second chance to return as something powerful, something better than what he was. He took it. Anything was better than the state that he was in. Lying there broken and beaten, His mind was finally clear to truly understand how horrible his situation was. He had nothing. He had no one. He took the chance, and he was reborn. By that time, Naruto had Mazikin by his side. However, Naruto see a future that was something that many people can't truly understand. It came with the abilities. It came with the understanding of what he can truly do. Naruto chose to expand. He wanted an army because certain moves in the futures were going to cause drastic change. Naruto was powerful, extremely so in many ways. Mazikin, his guard, was extremely powerful, but they can't be everywhere at once. Well, not yet. But before that, he wanted an army. But not just any army. He wanted them to be powerful. He wanted them to be loyal. Going through the same process with Mazikin would be a lot of time. Naruto wanted to find people that had nothing left and give them something to live for. As a bond, a contract was created. Naruto dived deep within the spiritual aspect and created something truly phenomenal, something special. It was called the spiraling ritual, the bloodbound beasts of spiral. They originated from bats, because some bats are known to feast on the human blood. Afraid of the sun, there were many different aspects. He read many of those books. He liked the dark theme, but it was only fiction. No one thought that it could truly be reality. So Naruto decided to rewrite that and create them. There was a lot of tries until he truly succeeded in the formula. There was an aspect to this ritual in the Red Grim War, but Naruto tweaked it to ensure that they would be loyal to him. A sire pack to ensure that they would see him as their leader. It started with a drop of blood from Naruto into the subject's heart. A small vial of their soul essence taken from them, absorbed by Naruto. And with that, their soul and essence is altered. As they flatline, when they open their eyes once again, they change. As they became a crimson-bound vampire, bound to Naruto. Enhanced speed, enhanced reflex, enhanced regeneration, enhanced strength, minor soul sight, and illusionary powers. The ability to feast on blood to keep them moving and strong. But not just blood for the older ones. They can also feed on souls as well. But there was only a small fraction of the whole population that can feed on souls. And it was only the older ones that had lesser soul manipulation and astral phasing. Obedient to Naruto by the soul pack. The piece of soul that Naruto took when they were alive, turning them into the ultimate beast. A powerful force that truly could not be stopped. He wanted an army, but not all of them can be this special. Veric was the Blood King. He was Naruto's hand-picked general. Cold, calm, and ruthless, having completely changed after his turn. Governed over many smaller factions underneath him. Underneath Veric was the Blood Lords. 4 of them, each of them turned by Naruto personally. They govern over regions in the shadows. They can turn up to 50 each. They created the Night Fang. They were elite assassins, spies. They were the enforcers. They were the ones that moved from shadow to shadow without a sight, having other traits and abilities to help them. And then you had the Soulborns. They were the standard, turned by the pure blood. And then you had the Thralls. They were the low levels, made by lesser rituals. And, well, their numbers weren't great because they couldn't just go around making and multiplying. After all, there was a system. There was a hierarchy, interrupted by someone stepping through the broken wall. Seems that I'm not too late. He's not dead yet. A person stepped in, gazing towards Naruto. He had gray, shaggy hair. A teeth was poking out, right at his lip. A rather muscular, tall man. There was a full set of beard. As he stepped inside, observing the situation, he wasn't normal either. As he looked towards Veric on the ground, his name was Corin, and he was number 1. He wasn't a vampire though. He was a werewolf. You see, the rumors are more truthful than most people thought. His story was different. He was a slave, thrown into a trafficking ring from he was a young child. He grew up. He was used and manipulated. He grew up in a harsh, wicked environment. He had nothing to live for. In fact, by the time he was 29, you could already tell that he was immediately empty. From just looking at him, he lost his hope a long time ago, but truly looking into his eyes by that age, he had nothing left. He truly had nothing. He had nothing from the beginning. No family, no friends. That is why he was taken as a child. He's been through so much. By the time he was in his late 30s, that is when destruction had rained down towards his home. Because that is the place that he come to see as his home now. His den, where he was chained up, used like some kind of puppet. He was forced to make sure the others were kept in line so they could be sold off. You see, the same man that housed him was the same man that was slaughtered by Forsaking and Naruto. In the early phases of his plan, Naruto saw this man and saw something inside of him. That empty look in his eyes. He was going to give that look a purpose, give that look a reason to break it. Thus Naruto created the first werewolf, a ritual that was far more deadly, as all of them saw this man as the alpha, but he saw Naruto as his alpha, and the smell that came from Naruto was much stronger than his. So the others knew to stay in line. While they did worship their pack leader, they knew that Naruto was above him because Naruto was his creator. And Corin had gained that alpha mentality but never loses respect once for Naruto. Because Naruto turned him into what he is today. You see, the werewolves are different. Their pack is different from the vampires. Completely. The pack of the Black Fang, the same ritual that Naruto used to turn him, that was a name. Corin was loyal to Naruto, brutal in battle, but ferociously protective of his pack. After all, he had nothing and no one, so having a family, having a pack, was something that he would never allow them to be harmed. He protected them. He would die for them. He was gifted with many powerful traits. The super strength, the super speed, the super senses. Also the howling terrain. A very powerful howl that was gifted only to a few. Underneath him you had the Moon Elders. 3 of them that answered to Corin and Naruto. And underneath them, you had the Beta Warbs, sub-commanders, elite werewolves that led the hunting pack. And underneath them you had the Moon Warriors, mid-tier werewolves that have completed the advanced transformation. And then you had the newborns, the babies of the crops. Werewolf focus less on politics. They focus more on combat hierarchy. Promotions are often earned through ritual combat or hunting feats. Their spiritual bond to Naruto also keep internal true fightings in check to make them know that this was for their growth of their pack, nothing else and nothing more. Despite how ferocious they can seem, they were never truly against one another. Korin and the three elders had the ability to transform, hybrid-wise, humanoid werewolf. They can also transform into their full wolf form. But this going down was something much harder for others to achieve. Thus, the other state getting the first form of the transformation, allowing them to be on that level. So this was the beginning. This is how it started. This happened a few years ago. And over the years, they've blended wonderfully into society. The vampires, the lesser ones, are hurt by the sun, keeping the line in check, as there will not be any overpopulation. Special rings were created only by Naruto. He was the only one that can truly create these rings. Each vampire wear a ring, even their vampire king. While the sun burned him, the sun can't exactly kill him, but it can kill the lesser members though. After all, Naruto created him specially, him and the four underneath him. So yes, this was the organization that Naruto created that has spread across the world. It might not seem that way, but they're in every village, even Konoha. After all, Naruto got information really quickly, in many different ways. They're all over the world, blending into society, merging into society. However, while there was rumors and whispers, no one had concrete evidence until truly now. That is why Naruto was here. That is why Naruto was pissed. Now, would you explain to me what the hell is going on? Naruto said, looking down towards Veric. Veric released a breath. It was his number 2. He found him when he was 16 years old. He was abandoned and alone, being an orphan since he could remember. He always had a soft side for the younger ones. He decided to take him as his own son, to raise him to be right beside him, to make him understand that they were the new step, that they were a part of a bigger plan, that they were a part of a bigger goal. But all he ever wanted was to be just like his new father. He wanted to join the army. He wanted to join the ranks. His name was Lazel. Lazel was a fantastic young man who had a bright future serving with them. So the moment he reached 18, he gave him the gift. Because that is how Veric saw it, it was a gift. He turned him into one of his. However, despite the pact that was there, the bond, the respect and everything they share, he started to question things. He knew they live alongside the werewolves. He knew that they were okay with them. They were one army, but divided into two, because they served the same master. He only met Naruto once, and let's just say he wasn't pleased. Lazel felt, well, he didn't felt right about the situation. He couldn't understand why his father served a man like that. Why his father would bow down to a man like that. Veric had put him in his place for him to understand why they served Lord Naruto, why they respected Naruto. But he wasn't satisfied with that answer. He wasn't satisfied with everything. But he could never betray his father, nor could he physically betray Naruto. However, he could still talk, but it was a taboo to release secret or information. And him being the son of the leader, as a man had taken him as his own son, he knew better than most people. But Lazel would not rest. He wanted to be free. So he saw it. Despite him having freedom more people in this world, having strength, speed, having powers that he would have never been gifted with, unless it was Naruto who started it all. But he wanted more. He made friends with someone who has been searching for this sense of immortality for a long time now. Korin. He brought it along. He had the papers and everything to Naruto. Turns out that Lazel was studying them. He has been studying Werewolf for the longest time now, finding out every single detail. He was up to something big. They've been hunting for him, and they've got some tips. They gotten a few photos as well. Turns out that he was currently with Orochimaru of the Sanin. As Naruto looked down towards Veric, who told him that the last time he saw Lazel that he would not listen to him. The pack was very powerful. Veric was in control. His words were law and order. Just like how Naruto could compel the villagers at the Land of Wave to take their wrath out on Gato, Lazel should never go beyond Veric's word. So it was strange, as Naruto took what all they had to say. Naruto turned towards Korin as he told Naruto. They attacked him. 5 of them at first, and then 15. They were aiming to wound him. Lazel was there as well. However, Korin was powerful enough to fend off against all of them. He remembered the headband. They had musical notes on it. But they did scratch him though. And they got his blood. After they got his blood, they fled. He slaughtered a lot of them. But Lazel was able to flee with the crowd that left. Naruto was quiet as he looked towards Veric, who was back on his feet. How long have you known about his desire of betrayal? Naruto questioned. There was a reason why Naruto was so pissed with him. Veric chose to keep this to himself because he wanted to handle it. But a sign of betrayal was something that he should have informed Naruto about immediately. But because it was his own son, Veric lowered his head, telling Naruto the exact time. He sincerely apologized, but he thought that he could handle it. So because of your actions, 15 innocent people are now dead, and the world is just that more aware of your kind, and aware of all of this. You're giving me a lot of headache that I don't want, said Naruto. Your son will be found, and he will be publicly executed for his crimes of breaking the pack. It was simple. Under order, under law, they were never supposed to go after humans. Blood was supplied to them. They had enough. Going after humans were taboo. Naruto was ready to expose them to the world. Veric knew that this was going to come. He knew that the moment Naruto arrived here, there was only one way this end for Lazel. He was going to die. And it wasn't something that he could stop. He might be powerful, he might be the head, but Naruto was a different kind of monster entirely. Naruto turned his head towards Korin. Gather the scouts. Yours as well, he said, looking towards Veric. Orochimaru shall also be found as well, said Naruto. Time skip. How is that possible? Mazikine said to Naruto as she was being serious. How is he able to defy the law that you set in place? He was never supposed to go against his father, the sire. Has he broken it? No, that's not possible. Naruto looked down towards his hand. He shouldn't be able to. But I think he found a way with the likes of Orochimaru. We've heard about his own little experiments. I'm not sure how he figured something like that out. I have to give him props. He's smart. Very smart. How much more have defected? Mazikine said as Naruto was quiet for a moment. 20, said Naruto. Out of the 20, none of them were werewolves. And none of them were the high category. They were all either the first or the second level, which chose to betray him, but at least the loyalty was standing still in the others. But it was clear, very clear. They found a way to break the sire pack. to go against his law, to go against his order. Orochimaru was the one dabbled into this. So where do we start? Mazikeen said, Orochimaru shall be brought to me alive. I need to know what he did. And after that, well, we eradicate his forces, said Naruto. And his name on this world. He has no idea who I am. But I'm sure that he was told about me by Lazel. But being told and seeing something are two different things, said Naruto. Mazikeen smiled when she heard that, knowing that there was a lot of bloodshed. So much to happen. Time skip. His heartbeat was strange. His heartbeat beat every 20 to 30 seconds. Truly strange. She was sure that he wasn't like them, but it was just so strange. Coyoki Kazahana rested her head on his chest as the both of them were in bed. He saved her. Not just that. He completely eviscerated her uncle, giving her control. At first, she never wanted it, believing that she wasn't the rightful leader. But he inspired her. He gave her hope. He also allowed her to see her father once again. And she couldn't be more grateful. But it wasn't there that it happened. It was in one of his many visits. The first time that the both of them looked at each other with lust. Let's just say that they destroyed the entire place. Naruto has been back a couple times since. Coyoki, she didn't have anyone serious in her life. This was very enjoyable, and the both of them liked it, so there was no problem there. What if he decided to go public? She said to Naruto, the world will be aware. They will be able to trace the information back to here. Are you worried about your safety and your home, said Naruto. Of course not, she said. I know that you wouldn't allow anything to happen to me, or anyone around here. That's right. However, I knew this truth would come out sooner or later, but this betrayal, I expected one, but not one like this. What do you mean, she said. The team up with Orochimaru. That is what I didn't expect. But I'm going to make sure that it will be the last. So you're getting rid of the Sannin, Coyoki said. She knew of the Sannins. She had no doubt in her mind that if a battle were to happen between all three and Naruto, that he would come out on top. She's seen a glimpse of his power. She knew the depths behind that calm exterior. He was powerful. Perhaps the most powerfulest person in this entire world. It isn't just about strength though. It was the things that he can do. Abnormal, strange things. After all, he created two species with extreme amount of power. And she's seen a few things that he can do. So, she knew that there was no need to worry. Not one bit. Time skip. As Naruto was stepping out, Coyoki was still asleep. A few rooms down, Naruto saw as Mazikeen was emerging as well. The both of them glimpsed towards each other. As the both of them smiled, I guess the both of us has been caught up in the hit and dip, Mazikeen said with a grin on her face. As she tried to peep into the room, but Naruto closed the door. So who was it, said Naruto. She crossed her arms. If you're not gonna show me who's inside, I'm not gonna tell you either. You already know that it's Coyoki, said Naruto. Why bother with your stupid little games? Still not going to tell, she said. She enjoyed teasing him most times. Out of everyone else, Mazikeen was the closest to Naruto. There was no doubt about that. She was more than family to him. Mazikeen's life was precious to him. Extremely so. If anything were to happen to her, well, it wouldn't be good for anyone. Anyone in this entire world. It wasn't just about Naruto's power growing out of check or him losing control. He's done a lot. He's dabbled into a lot. There was so much under the surface that it was hard to even truly understand. However, they've got work to do. Information came to Naruto rather easily. After all, he had people all over. However, this surprised Naruto. Orochimaru was planning on attacking Konoha. His goal, obvious, killing the fourth Hokage. But it wasn't just that. He was with the Sand. Due to Konoha rise in popularity, well, the daimyo was sending missions towards the village, the own Sand daimyo, which led Raza to realize that he had to do something about that. Raza was a fourth Kazekage. Naruto heard about their unstable Jinchuriki. He had people in the Sand as well. So what now? Mazikin said, "Are you going to make your debut and see your parents once again?" "The rumors is getting much more," said Naruto. "Why not get in front of it?" "Wait, does that mean?" "Yes. Send word. Tell them to prepare themselves. We're going to war," said Naruto. Mazuki nodded as she made her way to inform the others. Veric, receive word. As he looked at the form that was sent to him, he supposed this hasty attack was due to his son. But he can't blame his master. After all, his son had broken the law so much times already. He got to his feet to inform his people and his 4 blood lords to get the others ready. Meanwhile, as he teared into the massive piece of meat, he took the paper, gazing towards it. He was surprised, never expecting Naruto-sama to make a move like this, especially so out in the open. And not just any place. It was Konoha. The Wolf Alpha, Korin, gathered his people. Time skip. Despite not being related by blood, somehow, he started to look like his father. Perhaps it was a mannerism. The features might be a bit close, but not so close, but he took after his father. It was his blood that brought him back, as a superior being after all. His name was Lazel. He has betrayed his maker, betrayed the original, but Lazel never saw the world as black and white. He respected his father. He respected his father so much, but despite the power his father held, he realized that his father would never be truly in charge, because there was this Naruto, who claimed that he was a true leader, that he was a superior being between all of them. That man, Veric, Korin, as he called them now, they were just slaves to a forgotten god. Nothing but slaves. Working for someone who barely stopped by. Working for someone who doesn't even show that much interest in anything. The only thing he did was give orders and expected response. And all of them just stick to his words. He barely show his face, and yet they respect him. They bow down to him like it was nothing. He would never remain sire to that man, so he find a way to break it. While he could not break it himself, well, there was someone that could. A man that was just as dark himself. Lazel had no idea who Naruto truly was. He knew the premise, but he had no true idea. He was able to corrupt a lot of them to join his side. They were the lesser ones. They were seen as the newborns, the weaklings. They had to bow down to the others' command, do as they were told, fall in line and listen, despite having no one there to truly guide them except for the so-called words that came from the original, because what he said, oh yes, all of them were just an extension from Naruto. So that means they were nothing but voices. He used that to tempt them to his side, showing them that he can be a better god. He can be a god. He wouldn't be someone that would simply stand by. He will give them the power to make great changes, to step out of the darkness. They were the superior beings. They should rule, not ninjas. And it was about time someone made these changes. And if not him, then who else? Orochimaru was a very smart man. Very powerful man as well. The sire bond was something that Lazel could not break. Of course not. It would burn him into nothingness if he tried to break it by himself. But Orochimaru was smart. The Sannin was used to manipulating his own soul. He was able to bring two things together: the white, snake sage blood, and the cursed blood of the vampire. He then proceeded to perform a rather dangerous ritual, which had almost killed him. Yes, not Orochimaru, but Lazel. It almost burnt him up. However, he used the blood of the white snake as a conduit, along with his own technique that he used to splice his soul. It allowed him to put Lazel through a pain that he couldn't even fathom or describe. He allowed him to truly experience that moment that he took his final breath before he was brought back, showing him that the bond, that this connection was not that powerful, because he could live through it. He was able to see through that connection. He was able to go around it. There was so much components that were used to shatter the sire bond. The others that were brought in, 3 of them died, unable to break it without dying from their own pain, as it burned them out from the inside. But the others were alive. But there was a reason why the blood of the Alpha Wolf was stolen. Lazel knew that taking the Alpha Wolf on was a stupid idea, but they just needed a tiny bit of blood. However, he slaughtered up to 18 of them. Not even Lazel could face him. But they got his blood, just a tiny piece. Lazel already had the blood of his father, the man that hesitated to kill him despite knowing that he was going to do something. His father could see that he was getting angry about this, but he tried to calm him with his words, but it never truly worked. Now did it? Lazel was going to create a new species. He was going to fuse them together, creating a mixture between an alpha vampire and an alpha werewolf, the leaders of their both species. He was going to become the first true hybrid. With the blood of his father, it would make him even more stronger. He would dominate all, and he would be able to create his own rare species that will eviscerate anyone that stands in his path. No one will stop him. Orochimaru's desire was to break Konoha. He offered a few of the vampires that were there at his disposal to aid. After all, they were going to need a lot of test subjects. They were also going to need humans to worship underneath them, because they will be gods. So crushing Konoha wasn't off the table. It was actually the next move that they were going to make. Time skip. Mito and Menma went through the first phases of the Chunin exams, as they found themselves about to participate within the finals. Having trained and pushed themselves, they were here along with their teammates, and they were ready for this. A lot of people were there to see the gifted generation, to see the promising ninjas. More than one leader was there, including the Kazekage as well, seated alongside Minato Namikaze as the exam kicked off. A distance away, appearing within the land of fire, was Naruto. Mazikine by his side, she was always there, ready to see them again. She said to Naruto. He didn't answer though, as they venture forward, making their way towards Konoha. But guys, be and subscribe right here. If you want to see next part, you already know what to do. Like, subscribe, comment down below, and turn on that bell notification to stay posted But I'm off now. See you guys soon. Peace.